Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. Tyler on the board. How we doing, folks?
Good. Fantastic.
Y'all ready for another week of podcasting? I guess?
Yeah, it's been a beautiful week here. The week that it stops raining and it's a beautiful time to film, you leave town.
Yeah, I went through it had to be a tropical depression or storm or something coming out of Biloxi yesterday. We were in it the whole way coming back, but I went down to a trade show this week, so I've kind of been on the road.
Yeah. Did you eat anything good while you're on the road?
Man, I did. I found a restaurant. So we were sitting at the sports bar in the casino, and I guess the bartender heard me and Mikey talking about where we were going for dinner that night. 'Cause I was thinking we might go to the steakhouse or something like that. And it's like, hey, we can get steak anywhere. There's got to be some good seafood. And he overheard us. And he said, y'all got to go to a place called the Half Shell. It's like right across the street from the Hard Rock Casino down there on the coast. And I was like, we looked at it. It wasn't very far from where we were staying. So we said, we'll go there and give it a shot. Said they had fresh oysters. They did char-grilled oysters, and, the food was fantastic. And so we went, and, man, I would go back down there to go eat at that Half Shell restaurant.
Oh,
I've got two restaurants that I like down on the coast. One is the Steamer. You've been to it. It's, what's it called? The Gulf Shore. No, it's not that same one, though. It's the Steamer in, is it Ocean Springs, I think? It's right by another casino down there.
Yeah. It's really close.
Yeah,
to
right
Ocean
by a
Springs.
casino.
Yeah.
And then this one was the Half Shell in Biloxi. And, man, it was fantastic. We had me and Mikey split a dozen raw oysters. They were just great. This time of year, it was great oysters. They had that little briny taste to them, but they weren't
Were they
just
big?
They weren't the monster ones, because I don't like the ones that are like
Too big.
3-biters.
Yeah.
Too big, way bigger than a cracker or whatever.
Yeah.
No, but man, you can suck them right out of the shell. Got to put the horseradish on it, a little crystal hot sauce, maybe a little cocktail sauce, squeeze a lemon over it, shoot it right out of the shell. They were delicious. And then they had all kinds of different char grilled ones you could get, but their like, I guess, main ones or their signature ones were called Orleans style char grilled oysters.
Mm-hmm.
And I love char grilled oysters, but I don't like it when they pack all kinds of stuff on it where you don't taste the oyster. Well, this was like an Orleans sauce, and it was if you take barbecue shrimp, how you make them, and it's got the Worcestershire and the butter and all that.
I love that.
So it was like a butter sauce like that, but it had like a smoky, almost chipotle style to it or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, because you could get a bit of the smokiness, but it was spicy, and that's all it was. And they put just a touch of like Parmesan cheese on top. And so it wasn't like stuff baked all over the top of your oyster like a Rockefeller, nothing like that. It was the oyster slathered in that butter, grilled, and then flashed at the end with the Parmesan. And man, they were fantastic.
That sounds like a perfect souped up oyster.
Yeah, it was, because you still got the oyster. There's a lot of times, they'll do them, and you give me butter and lemon on char-grilled oysters, it's fine.
Yeah.
Parmesan just gives it a little bit of texture where you don't need a cracker to eat with it or anything. It's just eat that oyster right out of the shell. So we ate some of those too. And then I had a redfish dish. I sent you a picture of it. It was phenomenal. It was like a fillet of redfish, which if y'all have never ate redfish, it's one of the better white flesh fish that you could eat. I love redfish.
I do too.
And I guess they're all over the place down there on the coast. I'm actually going fishing for some in
A couple weeks.
Yeah, right at the beginning of June. We're going down to Venice, Louisiana. But we're going to do inshore and some outshore, but I'm going to bring back some redfish, hopefully, and some speck trout. Both of those are phenomenal. But they had all these different redfish recipes on there. One of them was...
So you could get it multiple ways, get redfish.
Yeah, I got one called Royal Redfish, which it was filet of redfish over like potatoes and asparagus.
You're talking pan-seared?
Yeah, pan-seared, seasoned. But they did like a butter, lemon, white wine sauce. And then it had royal red shrimp over the top of it.
That sounds
and it
just
was,
like me.
And then I had this. You got one side, and I did. There was actually a couple sitting beside us. We just sat at the bar. There was a couple beside us, and they said they come to that restaurant every year and they get the same thing. And that's because I looked at it. They could tell I had a little entree envy, and I was like, what do y'all call it? She said, this is the royal redfish. And we come here every year for this dish. And you have to get the creme brulee sweet potatoes with it, with the additional honey butter or whatever. They had some kind of special butter they put on it.
So that was not a dessert. That was a side.
Oh, that was a side. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you could have got any side, but it was fantastic.
So what was it again? Sweet potatoes.
Creme brulee sweet potatoes with a honey cinnamon butter or something like that. You had to pay $1 extra for the butter, but I splurged. I paid $1 for some butter.
So
well worth it.
Was it mashed sweet potatoes or was it like a sweet potato casserole?
So it was like, we do sweet potato casserole for like Thanksgiving, Christmas or whatever. It was in just an individual little dish.
Yeah, like sides.
Yeah, like sides dish.
Restaurants, yeah.
Kind of, I guess, pureed or whipped up sweet potatoes. And they had put like a sugar crumble on top of it and then torched it. So that was the creme brulee action. And then
Did it actually get a creme brulee crust on the top?
It was pretty crunchy. It was almost, you do like that, or it's almost like that praline crust.
Yeah.
It was very similar to that.
Did it have nuts?
No, it did not have like pecans in it. Like normally that would have pecans.
So it was just like kind of the brown sugar.
Yeah, but just kind of torched and crunchy and crumbly.
Okay.
And then they took like a little ice cream, not a full ice cream scoop, but like the one we use for hush puppies, and scoop that real soft butter and put it on top, and it just starts melting on top of that. And it was, man, I mean, it could have been dessert. I would have ordered that for a dessert.
Yeah.
But it was just a side dish that went with the fish. So it was.
Well, everything you got in late last night, and we were talking about a lot of stuff, but you were like, this creme brulee sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was dessert.
Yeah, no, we didn't. No. I didn't order dessert anywhere. But Mikey got one that was it was the Orleans redfish. So same sauce they did on the char grilled oysters, they did on the redfish, but they served it with I think it was just like Gulf shrimp, and then it put lump crab all over the top of it.
Ooh, which one's better? Did y'all try each other's or?
I took a bite of his. He took a bite of mine. I'd have to lean towards mine because of the royal red shrimp. Put it out. He said I didn't try the lump crab on his, but he's like, it's so light and delicate that you lost the crab in it.
Yeah, because
that sauce had so much flavor, and that's what like he now for dipping up stuff. They put a lot of that Orleans sauce, and it was almost, he thought it might have had like some kind of chili oil in it, but I think it was just butter and chipotle peppers, because it was, it had that
kick.
Barbecue shrimp feel. And they also, I looked at the menu, and they also had Orleans shrimp. So that was their version of barbecue shrimp. So they were getting several uses out of that sauce, and so that's why I think it was just like a version of a New Orleans barbecue shrimp. It's definitely worth going there. The bar was cool. I didn't sit in the restaurant, but it's like a 2-story building.
Good excuse for us to go back down there.
Yeah, for real.
Well, they have a minor league baseball team right on
called the Shuckers.
Yeah, the Shuckers.
Yeah.
Michael's been wanting to go, so we'll have to.
I ate twice there. We ate like as soon as we didn't get there till like 9:00. And we went to the sports bars. That's where we're having like a meet and greet. And I just got like a Philly cheesesteak and fries at the bar. And then the next day we went to the trade show. And then they had a box lunch, but we didn't partake in it. We waited until dinner that night. So by the time we got to dinner, I was like,
starving.
oysters, and an entree.
Bring me everything on this menu.
Yep. And then we get up the next day and go home. So it was super fast, but we did stop at one of my favorite places to stop on 49, U.S. Highway 49. That's Country Pleasing, the meat market. Shout out to Aaron and the guy. He gave me the tour. They've done remodeled since you've been there. That's Shell's hometown, y'all, Florence. So you grew up. Was Cooper's always there?
No, they were in Pelahatchie.
Okay.
They didn't move there till pretty much like I was leaving.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember when we first, when you took me home to see your folks or whatever, introduced me to everybody, we first started dating or whatever, I always wanted to go there because I saw the place, and they didn't have Country Pleasing in stores, at least in North Mississippi. They didn't.
They had it in some local grocery stores, but nothing like they do now.
Now it's got. I'm guessing they're distributing to a lot of the Walmarts around the country, because I see it. The pandemic really helped them, but they manufacture their line. It's called Country Pleasing brand smoked sausage, and they
It is good. It's probably the best smoked sausage.
Oh,
on
it
the
tastes
market.
it tastes like when we get the deer sausage made down there, smoked sausage. That's the closest to it, and it's delicious. But why I like stopping there is because they only have, I don't know how many different flavors of smoked sausage they have, but they have all the different stuff at the main store.
They only distribute like the top 3 or 4.
Yeah. I think Walmart may have 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Yep. They recently got the gator, actually.
So,
really?
they had crawfish and pork, and I bought some of that and brought back. They did I think it's like a 1887 blend or something like that.
What does that mean? What is 1887 blend? Is that a year or is that a?
I mean, I don't know if it's like I don't know. I didn't ask. I mean, but I think it was just like one of their old fashioned blend. It's like old fashioned smoked sausage.
Okay.
And they don't like distribute. The only place I think they sell it that I've seen is at the store, the Cooper's Meat Market store. But it's a full blown butcher shop. Like they had everything.
Yeah.
They're making boudin in house. I bought some of that seafood and regular and brought back. They're doing I think it was 2 or 3 kinds of breakfast sausage, like their own breakfast sausage blend. I hadn't seen it in stores either.
Yeah. They used to do like almost like a grab and go, like it's almost like meals you could go and pick
They still
up.
do that.
Yeah.
They have these big coolers like in the center, and they had like anything from a lasagna to they had this was new bisque and gumbos and
Oh, really?
made right there. They had pork. They're frying and bagging pork rinds right there. I bought a bag of the what's it called? Crab bowl ones. They didn't call them Cajun. They were like crab bowl seasoned. There wasn't. I didn't share those. There wasn't none left. We ate that bag.
Really?
Yeah. But they had some like the most tender smoked sausage. I bought some of those and brought them back there in the freezer. I mean, I bought probably $100 worth of stuff. Bought a cooler. They had a cooler and ice there, so you could just buy it, put it in the truck, and go into the house.
It's pretty good.
Definitely worth the stop.
Yeah. It's a really cool spot. Like they have all kinds of stuff, seasonings and jellies and jams and pickles and
Two of my
the whole thing.
favorite places. You got Jerry's Igloo Catfish House next door to Cooper's Meat Market.
I see that every time I go.
Have you never stopped, Tyler?
Nope,
Oh,
never
dude,
stopped.
you got to stop.
It's not a good place to stop and eat lunch when you're fixing to have to drive another 5 hours or so, you know?
You don't want to stop and eat catfish and still have 3-hour drive.
It's a heavy meal.
I think it was 2 hours. It was right at 2 hours from the coast to there.
Yeah. Get you a hotel.
Plan ahead.
That was like we were gonna come back. I was like, we can stop and eat lunch at Jerry's or go to Madison and eat Mama Hamil's. But it was coming a monsoon on us.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we're definitely stopping at getting some sausage and seeing a heron. But after that, we were ready to get home.
We also made another real quick trip last weekend or this past weekend. We went to Arkansas, went to Fire Dancer BBQ.
Meet and greet was awesome.
Yeah.
We showed up. I guess we got there that morning, and we stayed till about 3 or 4 o'clock that afternoon, and it was a line of people coming in and just talking barbecue. We took pictures, shook hands, passed out some food. They had what did they have? Some
He did
jerk chicken skewers.
Yeah, he did a bunch of chicken skewers, a bunch of different flavors, and then he had smoked cream cheese, which is a great thing to serve to people.
Oh yeah,
He did them a different way: savory smoked cream cheese,
so you could
sweet smoked cream cheese.
taste some of the different seasonings and stuff. I never thought of doing that at like a pass out type thing.
It's a good idea.
Everybody loves cream cheese.
Everybody loves cream chease, and it's very cost effective when you're passing out stuff.
Just get a smear of cream cheese on like a wheat thin or something.
So we've never tried this, but the guys that they had helping cook some of the pass out food, he said that he did these jerk chicken skewers. Used your jam and jerk seasoning, and he said he would season up the chicken on the skewer, thighs, of course, using thighs, cut them up, put them on the skewer, season them with the jerk, put them on the smoker or the grill, and he said he just kept putting that jerk on it, just putting that seasoning on it as it was starting to cook, and the moisture's coming out. Mm-hmm. He just was layering that seasoning on and on and on. He said you can't. He said you can do it with the jerk because it doesn't get overly salty.
Yeah.
He said it just keeps building those flavors, and that's
it.
all he did. And
I didn't try one, but did you try a bite?
Yes, it was everybody's favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people toting around multiple skewers.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You didn't try anything. You were over there.
I had, so I was standing there, I don't know, it was about 12:30. Eric come up and said, "You want a beer?" And he brought me a Miller Lite. I was like, heck yeah, and I took one sip, set it down, and then didn't pick it up till 4 o'clock. I was like, dang, I didn't even have time to drink one beer. I didn't get a bathroom break.
Were you dying?
No, I mean, that's my thing. If I'm talking, especially talking barbecue to people, and there's, it's constant, time flies by.
It does.
You can, blow off 8 hours just talking barbecue easy.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it.
Me and Michael kind of stayed over at the pass out table and
Helped out there.
Yeah.
But that was Eric's got a real cool store. If y'all are, it's actually in Benton, Arkansas, next door to Bryant, Arkansas. But that's where he's from, Bryant. But it's right off like the main drag. Plenty of room in his store. Like he's got room to do classes. He's got like a little private class area. He's got an outdoor area that's perfect for doing some grilling.
Yeah, I was kind of envious of his setup.
A lot of cool stuff. We got some ideas for our shop from what he had.
He had pretty much. He was kind of like more barbecue supply. He has it all.
He had different, sauces, rubs, seasonings, marinades, injections, things that
he had
we
fancy
didn't have.
mustards and olives.
We bought some stuff.
Heck yeah! I bought some of that chupacabra.
Which one?
I guess
2 Gringos chupacabra.
Yeah, 2 Gringos chupacabra. Yeah. They had a salsa and a marinade and I guess a Mexican sauce.
Mm-hmm. We gotta try that.
Yeah, we're gonna have tacos.
Like taco night. But yeah, we did go out somewhere there. U.S. Pizza. I'd never been to one of those. They told us it was some kind of chain, but it didn't seem like it.
I love U.S. Pizza.
Man, it was fun.
They had a bar. They had great pizza.
They served the big beers.
They had a little arcade over to the side. Michael was getting into that. It was.
Yeah, that's a good place.
Yeah. So we're still building the smokehouse. Where we are with the smokehouse build?
Last time I hadn't been down there in a minute, but last time I did go, they were finishing up the brick on the outside smoke area. So it should. If it didn't rain, they probably finished it this week. So we should be getting ready for screens and automatic door, paint. So it won't be long, hopefully. We haven't picked out countertops. Yeah, that's on us. We've got to go pick out our countertops. So we're doing like a show bar to where I film from. And that's what it'd probably be a granite top out there. It's got a brick base. But then behind us, I'm wanting to do these modular cabinets that Grilla has just because it seems easy. Like, I don't want something fixed because I don't know what I'm going to configure this thing. And I didn't want to build in and be stuck to something. What if I want to put in another type grill? And I've got to move. I don't want to have to get into hiring a contract or tearing some stuff out. Yeah. So I think the modular thing's going to work there. They have one like Grilla has. You can pretty much make any configuration you want. What I'm going to do is like a L with like a corner cabinet, and then we plumbed it to where they have a sink. It can hook right up to the sink with a drain and everything, and tie into our plumbing that we're building. So it'll be right there. It'll look like it'll have that modular maybe look or feel to it. But it'll almost seem like it's built in the way it is because.
Can you imagine having a sink in your outdoor kitchen?
No, it's gonna be great. and that sink unit has a refrigerator too. Cold Miller Lights right there. Wash your hand, get a beer. Can't beat that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because I'm gonna move. I'm gonna have a stick burner in there, of course. I'm gonna have a drum in there. I'm definitely gonna have a pellet grill, but I'm gonna have a flat top. I'm gonna have that crank it up grill. Probably a fryer of some sorts. I talked to the Bayou Classic people, and they've got this new fryer. They prototyped it, and the dude told me, he's like, "You want this prototype? You can take it with you." And it was storming so bad we couldn't put it in the back. They was just gonna get, it might get blowed out. It was the wind was blowing so hard.
So is it different than the fryer that you have currently?
It's more built for an outdoor kitchen look because the fryers we have now they're just like the fryer, baskets go in it. That's it. Bottle on the side. Maybe I don't even know if the one we have has a little shelf.
It does.
But this one has, this one is like a cart, and it's a one basket fryer, but it's like a wide basket. So it's perfect for family cooking on your back patio, something like that. It's not something you'd take and do like a catfish cooking,
like catering
or something. Yeah. But it has more of a built-in kind of look to it. It has like a little tray on the side with like a cutting board, and you take that off, and there's like a warming area underneath it. with
Really?
a pan, and the way it doesn't have like a heating element, but the way that the heat for the fryer runs tubes through to heat the grease, the residual heat from that keeps that little warming drawer
Just warm
heated
it up.
off that, just
Yeah.
warm enough. So
'Cause you
say
don't
if
want
you're
it too
frying,
hot.
say if you're frying fish or wings or something, you get those done, you put them off in the little warming basket, and it's got like a raised grate in there, so the grease will get off stuff, and then it's staying warm enough while you do French fries or other sides or something, or another round.
Yeah.
And then when you get through cooking, you can just take it all inside because it's got like a little lid you put on it. It's keeps everything off of it. So,
I could see you using that a lot.
yeah. I mean, I'm probably I told them I was really interested in getting one and trying it, maybe doing a video or something.
Yeah.
When swap out.
Yeah.
I'm all about a swap out. I'll do a video. You let me have one.
So this past weekend we did crab legs for Easter.
We did. So we got back. Well, was it Easter morning? No, we actually drove back late Saturday, and then when we got up, we was like, we didn't do a ham, we didn't do all the sides and stuff for Easter. My parents were out of town, so I said, let's do crab legs. So we bought,
we made a little
bought 5
video,
pounds
yeah.
of crab legs and did a video. And I mean, it was so. I love snow crab legs. They're the best. They're better than lobster to me.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather. I mean, I don't know. It seems like I get more meat out of them. They're easy to cook. You really don't have to. You really don't have to cook them. They're just warmed up because they've already been cooked. When they process them on those crab boats, they pull them out of the crab traps like you see on Deadliest Catch. They take them to a big boat and process them, flash freeze them right there. So they're, I guess they're steamed or boiled real fast. Then they put them up. And so when you get them, they're froze. Well, most people either steam them back to get them back to safe temp or, eating temp, or they boil them like we boil crawfish. But I started, and I did this a while back, putting them on the smoker.
Yeah.
So, because all I'm doing.
told you about it. I forgot who it was.
It was years ago. We did it. 'Cause I think the video I did it on first was on the old Hickory.
Oh, isn't it the old house?
Was it the old house
Yeah.
we did? The yellow kitchen days?
Yeah.
Or the tan kitchen days? After it was one of the phases there. But so what we did was you take them out, you put them on the grate straight frozen out of the freezer, give them a little head start. And I usually run the grill about 350. You could run. I mean, you want it moving air, and you want it, warmer heat. You're not trying to smoke them like 225 because all it is about heating that crab up and then getting that shell brittle so it'll break. So I think cooking them on the grill or the smoker actually gets that shell better than when you boil them or you steam them because they're always soggy to me then. Sometimes they crack, sometimes they don't.
They're a little more pliable.
Yeah, they're pliable, but putting them on the rack, circulating that warm air and some of that smoke through there,
Get some brittle.
it gets that shell brittle, and that's all I'm doing is cooking them till that shell's brittle enough.
And the meat's warm.
And the meat's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because it kind of steams in that shell, but that crab shell is kind of porous. So you think that, you're not going to get any flavor in it because it's got this hard shell on it. Well, there's all kinds of cracks and little, ways for the stuff to get in. So what I do, instead of just putting them on their plain to get some flavor on them, melt you some butter, season it up with some Cajun season. Y'all, I got the King Crawl. You could use whatever you want at Cajun season. You can make them barbecue flavored if you wanted to, but I like the Cajun.
Mm-hmm.
Squeeze some lemon juice in it.
Old Bay.
You could use Old Bay,
Yeah.
Squeeze some lemon in it, like one lemon just squeezed off in there, and some parsley. It's that easy. Melt the butter in the microwave and add all the other stuff and stir it up. And then after those crab legs have gone about 5 minutes on the grill, they're starting to thaw out and steam on their own a little, start basting them with that butter mixture. And I do that like 3 times during the cook, like every 10 minutes. I'd open the lid and baste them. Don't turn them, don't do anything. Just open the lid and baste them. And then after about 25, 30 minutes, I'll grab like one of the small legs, either off a cluster, but often when you buy crab legs, there's little legs left stragglers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my test legs. So I'll, grab one, take it, and when it snaps, they're done. And usually all of them are about that same thing. And so I just pull them off, throw them in an aluminum pan, cover them up with foil, and they'll steam a little bit then because they're holding residual heat, but they're ready to go. You don't have to wait. And man, I busted that. You could see when I picked them up how much juice was still in that crab leg. That was from where they were processed, So that holds it in there, and they've thought, all that's frozen anyway when they flash freeze them. So it's thawing out and it's keeping them moist on the inside, and it's getting some flavor from the butter and the seasonings. and you pick them up and they're just as juicy. They're not dry at all. When you bust that shell, man, it's just like steam and flavor, and they're so good.
I've always said that I like them better that way.
Yeah.
Than steamed or boiled or anything, because you get so much more flavor and you can taste the grill.
That's what I was going to say that. Like, I don't know if you would want to cook them at a lower temp or add more smoke or anything like that, because they soak up. I guess because they're so wet.
Yeah.
I guess they're so wet that smoke's drawn to them.
Yeah.
And so it kind of gives it that grilled smoky flavor. And it's like, man, you would have thought you did these over like live fire because it has that essence of it.
And I also think, like, whether it penetrates the meat, whether the butter mixture and the base penetrates the meat through the shell, I don't know. But I pick it up and it's getting all over my hands. And I'm cracking and I'm eating it. It's getting all over the meat. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
You really don't even need butter to dip it in.
I know, because so here is Malcolm's finer thing of life. Crab legs and melted butter, and that's all you need. And doing them on the grill, so I clarified the butter. Put a stick or two of butter in a little pot, start cooking it. It'll start foaming. The water starts cooking off.
So what's clarified? You're
separating kind of the butter solids from the butter fat, I guess it is, and then the moisture that's in the butter is cooking off, and that's what bubbles and foams off. And then you turn the heat off and pour it up, and it'll kind of some of the solids will settle to the bottom. And then if there's any I don't know, it's like butter film that gets to the top. I kind of get that off, and all you've got is liquid gold at that point. And that's what you dip the crab legs in.
And it doesn't solidify either.
No, it stays. Yeah, and I guess it's ghee. Would you say that's ghee, kind of clarified butter? I mean, I don't know. That's fancy.
I'll have to.
I just know it's delicious.
Yeah.
Malcolm's finer thing in life: crab legs on the grill with melted clarified butter. Oh, it don't get up better.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like the way you smoke them way better than steaming them, boiling them.
And they're easy.
It's easier too.
Yeah. It's easier than getting a big pot out and bringing it to a boil and seasoning it. It's probably, crab legs aren't cheap. I think, I don't know what I paid. I want to say it's like, these were big clusters, like the 8-10 ounce. Basically it's 2 clusters is a pound. So that's the way he weighs them. But they were the bigger ones, and I bought 5 pounds, and they were like $22.99 a pound, something like that. So you'll spend $100 on crab legs real quick.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
So does it get your grill?
But that'll feed like 2 clusters. I can eat 3, but 2 clusters is probably a serving if you're managing per person. I would say most people,
especially if you have potatoes and corn,
sides
and
to go with
sides,
it.
Yeah. So does it leave a mess on your cooker? Like, does it crab up your grill?
So the next day I cooked wings on the smoker, and
the same smoker.
I had that. I fired that Memphis smoker up for it because I had something else over on the griller, and I fired it up because I was wondering, I dripped all this down, and there was no like seafood smell or anything. Now I smelled some of the butter because I was basting, and it got on. I didn't change the foil out on the deflector plate, and so some of that butter and some of it, it had been dripping on it. But it wasn't like, oh, you're going to ruin your grill if you cook seafood on it. No, it wasn't anything like that. And the wings, so you ate the wings. Did you pick up any crab seafood taste?
No, I didn't.
Off those
even
wings?
Think about it.
Yeah. Now, I will say, like, clean your grill if you're going to, be cook. I cooked wings at like 300, I think it was. I set the grill, so it wasn't hotter than what I had it at. But if I was going to go up to over 350 or 400, all that butter that I've been basting with and sitting there, that's a good way to start a fire in your grill. So make sure, if you've done that you don't have an excess of butter grease or anything like that built. That goes for burgers, cooking pork butts and then going to cooking burgers, cranking it up. If you're going to crank it up high, make sure you clean all that off because you will start a grill fire easy.
I've done it before.
Yeah, you've done it. That's for you, Shell.
Don't cook Wagyu burgers.
Yeah.
And then not clean the grill.
And then turn it up to
400 to cook some wings
Yeah.
a day or two later.
Will flame up.
I think I might have killed that grill. I'm not sure. You also did a smoked low country boil.
I did. And so people know I guess most people know what a low country bowl is. It's
What is it?
low country. I guess it's over on the East Coast, Carolinas, all that.
That's what I think
low
of, yeah.
or Georgia, but they don't do crawfish over there. They do shrimp, and so most of the time it's shrimp, sausage, potatoes, corn. That's a low country bowl, and I'm assuming they do it. I don't know if they use crab boil in it, because most of the time when I see it, it's kind of plain looking, like they might have just done it in salted water or something like that.
A little butter, a little obey.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, and season it when it comes out. Well, I took my version the way I would imagine I would do it if I was going to do it on a smoker. So I don't know if in everybody else's towns, if this is a popular thing, but we have had here in DeSoto County, all these new restaurants popped up that do boil in a bag. And basically, they're steaming them. So they're using like these oven-safe bags, like you'd roast a turkey or your mom will cook pot roast in or something like that. And they're putting your seafood, your vegetables. You can flavor it however you want. If you want it spicy, if you want it mild, if you want it crab bowl, if you
lemon
want it,
pepper,
whatever, stepper, you can put whatever you want in it. So that's what I was going for, kind of low country bowl in a bag on the smoker. Now, the smoke and the heat from the bag, it I don't know how, but it permeates that bag. You get some flavor from the grill in it. It's not overly, it's on a pellet grill, so it's not super strong.
I didn't notice it near as much as I did with the crab. Yeah.
But it still comes through there. So you're getting some flavor from it, but mainly it's the heat, the steam that builds up from being in the bag that cooks everything. And the longest thing you're cooking in it is the potatoes. It takes them a while to cook. And since you're cooking everything all together, you've got to think about that. You got to give your potatoes a little head start. And the way we did those was pop them in the microwave. I use new potatoes. You could use, like if you use a small red potato or a small gold potato, you could cut them in half. But I imagine all grocery stores have them. I know ours do. It's these little bags of these little baby new potatoes.
Yeah, they're perfect. They're almost like a one-biter potato.
Yeah, it's not too starchy. It's perfect for doing like a crawfish bowl or low country bowl or something like that. So we popped them like in a covered little dish with a little water. And I don't even know, did you throw any season at all?
No.
It was just a little water to create steam.
I didn't even use water.
When you go 5 minutes, 5 minutes in the microwave.
I think it was 8.
Yeah, and then let them cool. I took them out, let the lid set off, and let them cool. So when we're ready to make our low country bowl, the potatoes have had a head start. They'll be tender in the time it takes the shrimp to cook. So I took fresh corn, cut the cobs in half. I boiled some. I like Cajun style boiled eggs. So we boiled some eggs, peeled them, put those in there. We had onion. I just kind of quartered just to give it some flavor. The onion's good. It's kind of sweet. It picks up flavor, but it gives you some flavor as it cooks too.
That's one of my favorite accompaniments.
Then
the onion.
Then I threw the mushrooms in there. That's not typical for a low country bowl, but for a Malcom low country it is. And of course you had to have shrimp. So I had these big giant Gulf shrimp. When I bought the crab legs, I bought 2 pounds of them, and I bought the kind that are peeled and deveined, but they have the tail on. You could use whole shrimp with the head. You probably wouldn't want the heads on there. It might poke your bag. But you could use shell on shrimp.
Yeah.
You could use any shrimp you want. Just get a good shrimp. And the potatoes.
And you use smoked sausage too.
Oh, yeah, you got to have the sausage. So I bought a Link of the Country Pleasing original and just cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And so I had all this like on a platter. And the thing about these oven bags, they don't hold a whole lot, but it's great because it's almost like you're making an individual bag per person. You could have all that sitting out, and then you have your seasoning. Now, for the seasoning, I used melted butter. I took like a pound of butter, 4 sticks, put it in like a Pyrex glass microwave safe dish and melted it low so it didn't pop all over the place and got it melted. And then I added minced garlic, more king crawl. Now, low country doesn't do this, but I like that crawfish flavor, so I use a liquid bowl, and I just put like a cap in it because that stuff is concentrated flavor. So you'll blow yourself out if you use too much.
Cajun-y.
So you get that Cajun kind of bayou taste to it. And a cap of that, some parsley, and that was all that was in the
lemon juice.
I squeezed the lemon in the bag.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's all I put in the butter on that one. Mix that up, and then you get I found it easier, like if you get a shallow dish, put your bag in it and kind of roll it down, and then potatoes, corn, sausage, mushroom, eggs, onion, and then put your shrimp on top, pour about half your, kind of eyeball how much butter mixture, how many bags you're going to make to how much butter mixture you pour in. But because you just want to coat everything. So I just poured some of that in, squeezed some lemon in, and y'all know I heat it with some extra seasoning. I want it spicy. But that's the great thing about this. If you had it laid out for everybody, they could just, you could let them build their bag. If they don't like the deviled or the boiled eggs.
Yeah, because I ain't messing with them eggs.
Yeah, they don't want the mushrooms. You can put whatever you wanted in it. If they don't like it too spicy or too buttery, just go lightly. But once you get it all loaded in the bags and tied up, you just stick it on a sheet pan. Then you probably
shook
could.
It real good.
Oh yeah. I forgot. You got to mix it all around to coat everything. So it's in that bag and it's tied up. So I just kind of by hand mix everything all together to where it's all coated and you get that buttery mixture and all them seasoned flavors all over it. Then it goes on the grill. Now, I've never tried it putting it straight on the rack. You could, but I don't want the bag to have any way to bust, melt, whatever. Because these are
it's sticking to the rack.
Yeah, and these are high temp bags. But I line a sheet pan with full just to make cleanup easy in case something spills or whatever. And just set them bags on it, and it looks like you just bought some goldfish or something. You got it in the bag. Yeah. Set it on there, put it on the pit. I did like 275 and it only took 25, 30 minutes. Doesn't take long, and you can kind of see through the bag. Steam will start building up, and I just kind of move around where I can see some of the shrimp. And when those shrimp start to change from that kind of clear gray look that they have to a white, almost pink and white look, or red kind of color, that's when they're done, because you don't want to overcook the shrimp. Everything else in there will be fine. The onions they'll still have a little. I mean, they're not going to mush. They still have a little firmness to the onion, but you're getting some of that flavor from them. But it really tastes good. And the potatoes are soft. The corn doesn't need long at all. Mushrooms soak up a lot of the flavor.
The mushrooms
and the sausage are done too. But the best thing about this is you don't need the clarified butter on the side of it, because you dump all that stuff out and get you your own little casserole dish or round tub or casserole dish. Whatever you have, dump that bag in there, and then you get all that buttery goodness, and you just dip your shrimp and dip your potatoes and wallow your corn around in it. That's all you need. And it's like a one pot meal that takes 30 minutes to cook.
Yeah.
And you could cook a bunch of it too.
You could do all kinds of flavors.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those were good.
It was really good. I mean, it's
so
shrimp.
We ate good on Easter.
It's shrimp and butter, so I kind of expected it to be good, but
you had me sold on dinner tonight.
Yeah,
sounds delicious.
And they're eating. So the oven bags, they're like, we found them on the aluminum foil plastic wrap aisle.
Yeah,
it's Reynolds oven safe bags. And you just kind of bunch them together and tie them in a knot.
That's and you can do any seafood, really.
Yeah, anything.
Because I've had those boil in the bag places where I got crab legs or.
Yeah, someone put whole lobsters in there. They'll put a lobster in it. They'll put lobster tails, crab, mussels, clams. Yeah. I've seen them put all kinds of stuff in those bags.
But the shrimp to me is the best.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't want to put a whole live lobster off in there. Throw him on the grill. That'd seem a little odd.
Wait, live?
Yeah. Would you do live made in the bag?
Aren't you supposed to dispatch them?
Yeah, I think you are, aren't you? Put a butcher knife to their head. I ain't cooked enough live ones.
Have you ever cooked any live ones?
Yeah, I have. We got the wild hair. This was back early when I was still like barbecuing at my mom and dad's house on our first little side-by-side smoker that we bought at the grocery store, one of those that sit outside. They used to have lobster tanks in grocery stores. Yeah, we don't have them anymore. So it was like me, Waylon, Chuck, a couple of us, buddies. Let's go get some lobsters and steak. We would cook that. We went and bought, and they give them to you in like these Happy Meal boxes at the grocery store. So then the claws are banned. So the first thing we do, we get these lobsters on, bust them out of the thing. We cut the bands off, and we got them in the kitchen. My mom and dad aren't home. We got them in the floor trying to fight these lobsters, And so we didn't know that you were supposed to dispatch them or whatever. We put them on the smoker, just throw them up in there.
Like the live lobsters? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Were they making noises?
I didn't hear anything. I wasn't listening for them, but they wasn't like, hey, let me out or nothing. They weren't knocking on the door. It's a big giant cockroach of the sea. I
always heard that they screamed.
It was not that good, believe me. We had them on a side-by-side smoker. This before I knew much about smoking at all. We were just trying to feed it sticks and barely get it to 225, and we grilled the steaks. The steaks were okay, but the lobster was not very good. Zero flavor. I mean, we melted some margarine probably. We had like parquet. We was trying to eat with these lobsters. I have come a long way since then. I'm cooking lobster or anything.
If you boil them, they do scream.
Okay.
I do know that.
Have you done that?
Yeah. I mean, I have never done it, but it's a New England staple, I think, to just boil lobsters live. At least it was in my house.
Yeah.
And growing up, it was a very common sound that you would hear coming from the kitchen was lobster screaming.
Yeah. So what does it sound like?
It's just really high. Yeah, like really high pitch. I guess I don't know if
Is
it's
the
like
lobster
them
making the noise,
yeah.
or is it the steam and stuff coming out of their shell? Probably.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because if they didn't scream on the smoker, then maybe it has something to do with the water boiling. Maybe.
Yeah.
He wasn't paying attention. I imagine they were.
Yeah. Probably had music turned on
Yeah.
in the front yard. I'm talking about you step off the porch and it's in the neighborhood right on the
Just throwing live lobsters. up in
lobsters on
there.
the grill. After we raced them and made them fight each other. Lobster does hurt when it grabs you. It's not like crawfish. It'll beat your fire out of you.
So, last week we talked about fall off the bone ribs,
We did.
and there was a clip that Jacob took and put it on TikTok, and it's doing pretty good.
Really? What's it up to?
Like 800,000 people
Wow.
have watched it.
Yeah, talk about fall off.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, I'll tell you this. People are serious about their fall off the bone ribs.
I believe it.
So when we got down to Biloxi that night, and we went to they were having like a meet and greet at the little sports bar. They had like a little area roped off, and me and Mikey stroll in, and of course people are coming up and introducing us and talking to us. And this man he comes up to me, he's, what do you know about cooking ribs? How you competition guys think y'all know how to cook ribs? I'm gonna tell you what, the best ribs are. What did he tell me the name of the place was? It was in Jasper, Alabama. And
Ooh.
I cannot remember the name of it. It might have been Scott's or Joe's. It was something. It was Jasper, Alabama. But he said, I guarantee you these are the best ribs you've ever ate in your life. You pick up the bone, all that meat just falls off. And he's like, how do you think they do that? And y'all can't do that. And so I said, so my thing was, I said, man, that's easy to do. All you do is overcook it. He did not like that answer. He's like, what do you mean overcook? That's how people eat. That's how they're supposed to be. He was adamant that was how you eat ribs. Fall off and I was like, hey, who am I to tell you how to eat your rib, buddy? I'm sure they're good. In fact, I wanted to go there and try them.
Was it Sons?
I don't think.
Dino's?
Yes. I think it was. I think it was
Sons Smokehouse?
I think it was. He said they serve them. It sounded like Dreamland style to me. The whole slab of ribs, you get loaf bread with it, and he says they give you sauce on the side. It's just like a dry seasoned rib, no sauce, which all that checks boxes for me.
Yeah.
When I eat ribs, that's how I like to eat them. I don't eat the competition rib very often, but I usually don't cook them where they fall off the bone if I get them messed up. But
I mean, the thing is, to me, the perfect texture, it's still on the bone, but it's like.
Yeah. 2 or 3 shakes, you might get it off.
Yeah.
I want it perfect melt in your mouth
I do too,
texture.
yeah.
And often when you cook ribs, and that's like Tyler talked about, it makes good pulled pork when you cook them like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the textures, it gets mushy on you real quick because you've cooked out most of the moisture in it to do that. And there's nothing, all the collagen's been belted and gone, so you don't get all that goodness by just cooking them to the perfect tenderness. And it is hard to do that, especially in a restaurant setting.
Oh, yeah.
But I can see how people like them because you're not fighting it on the bone. It's just meat,
I would rather have the too tender than too tight.
Any day of the week. Yeah. That goes for a contest, too.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from a too tight rib. Nobody's going to give you the benefit of a doubt if you undercooked them. If you overcooked them, you might find one of these people out there.
They're like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I finally got the one I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nobody's looking for that too tight rib. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. How many times have you heard fall off the bone ribs? A lot of restaurants use that as a marketing slogan.
I love that he was adamant.
He was, he was
angry.
And he had to get somebody else to back him up and come over and tell me.
You were texting Mikey like, Mikey.
Oh, no.
911.
He was chest bumping me and everything, poking at me. He said, how you cook ribs? I was like, I wouldn't go argue.
All right,
he might have had a few ahead of me.
Yeah.
When I did have a couple Miller Lights. I was back on. I was closer to like. Now let me tell you something.
Came back downstairs looking for him.
We're gonna have a cook-off at Sun's parking lot, Jasper, Alabama. See who's better, man versus rib.
Real quick, I do want to take a moment to remind everyone to try Blue Plate and the new spicy Blue Plate.
Oh yeah,
Best mayonnaise on the planet.
I did see somebody in the community posted a picture. They were in the French Quarter, and it had the Blue Plate on the table. That's where it's supposed to be.
Non-refrigerated.
Non-refrigerated.
People are also finding the hot and spicy mayo. So
It hit stores, I think, didn't it, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it hit store shelves. And like I know personally, around this office, we've gone through 6 bottles already.
Yeah,
we've only had them for a couple weeks. It's that good. I'm not joking.
It's really good. It's not like a mayonnaise. It's more like a spicy, creamy sauce.
But it has more of the texture of a thick mayo, though, because a lot of those you buy that are like spicy, cilantro mayo or whatever, they do stuff to mayo. They're real runny or runnier and a lot smoother. This is like, it stands up.
Yes.
You could spread it. It's not like a runny, it's not like an Abner sauce or Zaxby sauce or something. This is like spicy mayo.
I bet if you wanted to turn it into like a chicken nugget dipping sauce.
Yeah, it'd be great.
You could mix it with like a pickle juice.
Oh, just Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Splash of ketchup. You have it. And the black pepper. You'd be right on Zaxby sauce. Probably better. Or Chick-fil-A sauce.
There was a meme in the community where someone posted a picture. It said extra heavy duty mayo.
I saw that too.
They said, what do you need the extra heavy duty over the heavy duty? What kind of application are you working there?
Do you think that's more for making dressings and stuff like that? Because would you just spread the extra heavy duty on like your ham sandwich?
I don't see why not.
We need to get some of that in there and compare it. Does Blue Plate make it extra thick, like extra heavy duty?
I don't think so. I figured this is a marketing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I don't.
Well, the only reason why, the only place I've seen it, it's not like on a retail shelf, but Sam's Club. You know how they sell it by the gallon,
That's exactly
and they're like
this was,
industrial, and they call it extra heavy duty mayo. I'm thinking that when people make, say, if you're at a restaurant, you're making your own salad dressings or your own sauces and stuff, you need a thicker mayo to go with that to add stuff to it. Like if turning it into a salad, you're adding buttermilk to it or whatever you're doing to make a ranch, and you're going to thin it down. But you wouldn't just like, we're slapping that on the burger,
Yeah. I still think it's just a marketing gimmick.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not, but they don't have marketing. It's just a generic label. It's not like they've got a original and then extra thick set beside each other.
I'm thinking they're saying Best Foods already has the heavy duty.
Covered. So we're going. So we're going extra heavy duty.
Yeah.
And you're also buying a gallon of mayo, so you're already like that's already extra heavy duty. I think
you don't have.
You're already heavy duty.
You're already.
They do have, like Mitchell sent us a gallon of mayo. You can get the Blue Plate in the gallon. I've never seen it in Sam's, but I think Walmart. Didn't we see it in a Walmart somewhere?
In a Walmart.
It's going to be over with the industrial showboat pork and beans.
Yeah.
It's not going to be on the regular condiment aisle. It's going to be of the big green beans and pork and beans.
It's going to be there by the nacho cheese.
Yeah, the big can of nacho cheese.
My favorite aisle.
Speaking of man versus food, I got a Shell's Learning Corner for you.
Okay. You saw this on TikTok, didn't you?
Yes, it is.
Because it hit mine.
That's where I get everything. You think I'm reading?
Do you validate it or do you just like?
Yeah, I read
Okay. I was going to say, you just say, it's per Adam Richmond, he says.
Okay, so Adam Richmond.
Yeah.
Well, I love Adam Richmond.
Yeah, I watch him on the Food That Built America now on History Channel.
We used to watch Man versus Food every time. So Adam Richmond from Man versus Food, he did an interview with the Barstool's podcast, Pardon My Take.
Mm-hmm.
But he said this is what he does for spicy food challenges. And I think he knows a little something,
Mm-hmm.
He said that you don't want to do dairy. Dairy is really good for your mouth because and I researched why. So milk contains casein that breaks down the capsaicin for the nerve receptors in your mouth. So it will cool down your mouth, but it's horrible for the digestion of the spicy food and everything that comes after.
Yeah.
It makes it worse. So he said, eat a banana and a small bowl of rice before you have any super spicy foods.
Like if I knew I was going to do the Hot Ones challenge again, me versus Mark, if I eat a banana and some rice, I'm going to be okay. Now, is that going to help me on the burn on the top end?
No.
It's just going to help on the bottom end burn.
Yes. Which he says is the most important part.
Yeah. So what do you do on top end burn? Just ranch and milk and don't swallow it or something?
Yeah, that's what he did. Said you can swish it. Yeah.
Swish it. Yeah.
Swish the milk, but don't swallow it. So
the bottom end burn is way worse than top end burn. Top end burn lasts for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, misery, pain.
That's what he was saying.
You get 2 days of bottom end burn. I'm here to testify to that. And when they call it da bomb, it is da bomb. God, it's like something went off bad in your guts. I mean, it hurts so bad.
I need to share that video again, like on How to Barbecue Right, for the people that haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's misery.
So the bananas are an alkaline food that helps neutralize acid in the stomach. So when it hits your stomach, it coats the stomach lining and helps soothe the burning sensation. The rice is a starchy, low-fiber food, and it helps firm things up so it can help stop the poops.
Huh.
And then he drinks the pink bismuth, too.
Yeah.
And it's
like Pepto?
Yeah, Pepto.
Yeah. I tried milk of magnesia or whatever. Well, I had to do something. I was like in pain.
You were chugging it.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It wasn't just misery for you. It was misery for me, too. I had to listen to you whine, rub on you. And
for 2 days.
Yeah.
It does something. I don't know what it does to your insides, but that hot stuff cannot be good for you. Putting something like that in your body, I mean, God.
So now you know next time.
I know not to do it. There ain't no next time. There's not going to be like, I'm going to prep up with a banana and some rice, some Pepto to put myself through torture, hoping it helps.
Just imagine there's a First We Feast guy that does it every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has to have an iron gut or something.
And he never gets like too upset about eating the spicy food.
Not once does he. He just warns the other person.
Like you can see his face get red, I think, over time, but he's not reacting any kind of way.
And he does not seem like a big, brawly, tough guy. You
No.
know?
He's just been doing it long enough.
Yeah. Maybe
He's
he
immune
doesn't.
to it or something.
He doesn't have guts anymore.
That would be the worst job in the world. Like you've got to not just go on there one time. Like you've got to continually do it to yourself.
We're on season 18 now.
Yeah. You wonder if he's like sponsored by Charmin or something like that, or Rolaids. Something's got to help him.
It's cool. You get to interview Matt Damon and Aquaman, but
yeah.
At what cost?
At what cost?
I wouldn't be surprised if like he has like stomach liner cancer. He's done something to himself down through there. I don't know. That's terrible. I'd want like extra insurance if something happened to me down the road.
I wonder how often they film. Like, did they do 2 in one day?
Or you just knock them out? Yeah, let's get these over with.
That's how I'd want to do it. Just because like you're already building immunity in your brain or your mouth.
Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, just go ahead and film like 5 in a row.
So is that the case? Like, I know people eat hot stuff because it's a rush. I guess it releases endorphins or dopamine or something in your body. But do you build up an immunity to those heat levels if you do that, if you eat it enough?
I mean, you do with booze or, anything else.
Do you really? Do you really? I don't think you built up an immunity to it.
Not an immunity
I just think
to
you like what it does to you.
You increase your tolerance.
I don't know. I don't know if you do that either. I think some people just 2 drinks and they're there and they just like to stay right in, to keep on going. But I don't know about with hot stuff. Do you have any insight on that, Tyler?
No, I don't. I mean, I eat it a lot, and I think, some people can handle it, some people can't.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just because they don't try anymore or what, but yeah, I
see that's something that's weird. It's got to be genetic or something too. It's like some people are predisposed to not get the heat from some stuff. Like the capsium doesn't bother them as bad as it does. Like, I mean, I may be allergic to it. I don't know. But
also, you probably you can't handle as hot as you once did.
Yeah, no, as I get older, I can't. Yeah, for real. It bothers me more.
Yeah.
Like we had somebody reach out recently on the Malcom Shop page that said that Grande Gringo burned them down and that they couldn't eat something that they made.
Gringo?
Or something like that, which is just baffling to me. And I've never heard that before, but that goes to show that it's just like everybody's got
different heat levels. Yeah.
Some people,
well, we've heard people say that the barbecue rub's hot, and it has some cayenne in it, but it's not hot.
That's the mildest, sweetest.
Yeah.
So I think some people are just completely like
everybody's a little different.
That's right.
Some people like mushy ribs.
Hey, tomato, right? Each his own.
So talking about the community, I saw a lot of people posting their Easter ham.
Yeah, look, a lot of people
cook
hams.
ham.
That's got to be the number one thing cooked at Easter, right?
I would say so.
I think it would be. There was some lamb I saw cooked.
Prime ribs.
I think some people cook prime rib or brisket.
Pork loins.
But ham would be when you think of what you're going to have on an Easter table spread. I think most people would think of ham first.
Yeah.
Bunch of good looking different hams too.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people like took your method and like adapted it to what
that's
they
a good
want.
thing. Man, you could warm up ham on the smoker 1,000 different ways.
With
and they'd all be good.
Glazes,
and they would all be good.
So here's a good question. Eli wants to know, I'm looking for any and all potato recipes to accompany ribeye steaks. I feel like I got some.
You got some? First one I'm going to throw out there is loaded baked potato loaded mashed potatoes. That's one of my favorites because you don't have to mess with the whole shell and cutting it and doing everything. You do it. You mix it with your butter and all that in the mashed potatoes with the sour cream, and you top it with the cheese and the green onion and the bacon, and that's how you serve it. It's phenomenal with it.
So it's essentially you're making
loaded mashed potatoes.
Loaded mashed potatoes.
What do you like?
I like to take those little new potatoes like we were just talking about.
Yes.
Olive oil, chimichurri seasoning.
Oh, Alfregoni's chimichurri rub.
Rub and a little bit of AP or some sort of all-purpose seasoning. Yeah. Roast them in the oven or even the pit.
Those are really good.
Yeah.
If you buy
roasted new potatoes.
if you get the new potatoes, you don't have to cut them up, but you can also quarter up larger potatoes. Do the same thing. You toss them in the olive oil.
Yeah.
I've tossed them in bacon fat, and they're really good too.
So I have an issue with the bacon fat. It almost gets the skin on potatoes too hard.
Oh, you think it hardens it up more?
Yes, because I've tried it with we'll usually coat our whole baked potatoes with some sort of oil and season them and roast them that way. For just a regular baked potato, it gets the skin almost. It
tough.
gets it tough, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't eat the skin.
Yeah, and I've noticed it does the same thing with those little new potatoes. If they're cut and the skin's open, you've got open potato flesh.
So what temperature are you cooking, roasting your potatoes or putting them on the smoker or grill?
400, 425.
And we're looking at
15, 20, 25.
So it's a fast cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all try that one. That one's a good one. We do them for catering events like that. We'll do them in a large pan, throw them in pit. If you do a lot of them in there, it's better to put them on like a sheet pan where they spread out. But if you do have to pile them up in a pan, you'll want to stir them every now and then. But you're just cooking them until that potato's fork tender. And those are really good potatoes that go with just about anything. They go great with steak.
And they hold really, really well.
What about a cheesy scalloped potato to go with steak? Would you like that?
Heck yeah. What would you do? Take a potato and
it's like thin slices.
Mantle in it?
Yeah, I mean you don't have to get it paper thin. You can cut it with a knife, but you just want thin slices across the potato.
You guys used to do something called heart attack potatoes?
Yes. Would you serve that with steak?
I don't know.
The cheesy heart attack potatoes, because they had like a pound of butter, whole 2 pounds of Velveeta cheese in them, jalapenos, mushrooms, peppers, onions. We cooked them the same way. We just did them in a pan. Basically cook potatoes in butter first, and then you drain out the butter and you put in cubes of Velveeta cheese when they're almost done, and you just start stirring it. And that cheese, that processed cheese, just melts out and coats everything. And it's really good. It's not fancy for a steak.
Mm-mm.
It's more like a burger night. You serve those with burgers or dogs or something. But they're really good. That's a really good way. I'm trying to think of a fancy. So a lot of people do steak and frites.
Yeah.
Which is like thin cut French fried potatoes that they fry. They double fry them. So to get them crispy, you fry them like at a lower temperature, and then you flash fry them at the end at a little bit higher temperature, so like 325 and then like 375, and it gets them crispy. And then you salt them. In restaurants, you see them with like a truffled salt or something like that.
Good for potatoes.
And then, and then you dust them with like a little shredded Parmesan cheese. So it's a fancier French fries. All it is when you see frites, but that's a big one.
They got a good crunch on that.
Yeah, they're really good. Those are just some of the ones that come to mind.
I know.
Now we're talking potatoes. Tater.
You really can't go wrong. Pretty much
yeah.
mashing them, roasting them,
Baking them.
baking them.
Yeah.
Even as simple as just a baked potato bar, like that's what me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do that. I like doing that where you have all your toppings and you kind of dress your own. Now I do like when I do baked potatoes, it's not just like a full wrap potato. We don't even wrap them in full. We take them and wash them really good, coat the outside in olive oil, season them with like AP or TX, and then add some herbs like dehydrated parsley or something like that. So it makes this like crust on the outside as it cooks. And then when you serve those, and it takes, like you said, you just cook them on like 425 till you can stick a skewer in them.
You do have to rotate them halfway through because
They'll kind of stick.
they start getting a little too done on the bottom on one side.
But then you do that, and then you serve them with a potato bar, but you can eat the skin and everything, and the skin is so good on them.
It's really good. I mean, even the kids will eat the skin.
Yeah,
on
love
it.
it. Love it.
You
Twice baked potato, that's always a good one. Where you bake potatoes and then you hull them out and you mix them like I was talking about the loaded baked potato. Stuff it back in and put a little extra cheese on top and put it under the broiler just to melt the cheese.
That's kind of how you do your barbecue potato.
Yeah, kind of the same way. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on gravity-fed smokers?
That's one type of pit that I've never really cooked on. I've got buddies that cook on them and they love them, but I've just never had a gravity fed. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. They are on the pricier side of a pit, and maybe that's been my thing. Like say you look at a Deep South that Randall makes, or Stumps is another one that makes gravity feds.
Mm-hmm.
Those cookers typically run $3,000 to $4,000. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
So it's not. And I know Masterbuilt came out with one. I don't know much about it at all. Never really seen one in person too much.
That'd be a good thing to get one of those cheaper gravity feds.
See how it works. If I was going to get one, I'd probably call Randall and say, man, I need a gravity fed to try out, because he's told me before if I ever want to cook, I just never had the place, now that I got Smokehouse, I may need to try to cook it. Well, he's told me he would bring his over and let me borrow it and cook on it. So I probably need to do that. I just had never done it. I know they cook, they cook a lot like, say like a backwoods style cooker without the water pan. Most people that cook on gravity feds cook in pans. So I know Heath does. That's where I get most of my experience from, and y'all know how successful he is cooking, winning contests and everything. But the reason why they cook in pans is, one, it keeps that smoker clean. But two, the way a gravity fed smoker works, it usually has it's got a side chute on the side of it that lifts up at the top, and that's where you put all your coals. And then it'll have like a little fire grate down below that to where the coals can drop as needed. You start a little fire down there, and most often they have like a drip it's almost like a deflector plate that goes over from inside the, smoke chamber, comes across, and usually that's where you're opening to where your heat gets in. So as those meat juices drip, it gets in the bottom of your cook chamber and all that. It can get on that deflector plate, and that deflector plate's heating up really hot. So it can scorch, and it can, sometimes if there's enough on it, it could give you a little off smell or off colored smoke. So guys started cooking in pans. And what they'll do is they'll take just aluminum serving pans, put a little raised rack in it so your meat's not in the bottom of the pan, and cook. And that way you don't have to worry about cleaning. There's no way any juice is going to get down and give you any off smells or anything. So the way they operate, they cook fine. You can put gurus on them to control the temp. They smoking temps 250, probably 225 to 275. I'd say. I've never heard of anybody really cranking them up to like 350 or anything like that. And it's more of a smoker.
I will say that I've heard. I don't know anything about them, but I've heard other people talking about them, and either you really like them or you hate them.
Yeah, they're insulated. They're pretty big footprint because you do have your charcoal chute on one side, and then however big you need for your cook chamber. But most of them that I've seen are pretty big footprint. Like it's going to take up something like a backwoods competitor at least, or an old hickory CTO size. That's about the footprint of it.
Yeah, but the people that really dislike them hate them because they say they give a scorched flavor.
Yeah. It comes down to learning how to cook on the pit, I think. So some of that comes with learning it.
One more question before I let you go.
All right.
So Sally is traveling through Memphis. She wants a non-chain barbecue joint to stop at in Memphis.
Non-chain. Memphis Barbecue Company? Does
She's
that
been
count?
to Central Barbecue.
Memphis Barbecue.
Yeah, I'd call that
That's
one. but
non-chain. I mean, they may have had a branch or two, but that's that was
That's the original. That's the one you'd go to.
Yep.
Yeah,
not in Memphis. It's right on
It's
the
not
right
in
on the
Memphis.
state line.
I said the
In Memphis,
barbecue shop.
Barbecue shop. I would go barbecue shop. Germantown Commissary.
Ooh,
Already
yeah.
been to Central.
And Central's kind of a chain.
Interstate.
Yeah,
Dealey's Interstate. For a sandwich, go to Payne's. Cozy Corner. That's one of my favorite
Yep.
little
Cozy
family
Corner is
owned.
phenomenal.
It is. I really like Cozy Corner a lot. I'm trying to think of another one that's got a great sandwich or ribs. Those are my top. Those are where I send
You didn't
people.
say Rendezvous. Is that on purpose? Kind of.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Rendezvous. It's just that's not.
It's
they're-
just not good barbecue.
I mean, hey, they've got some good stuff. They're the barbecue shrimp,
Yeah, the
Oh.
barbecue shrimp is good.
sausage and cheese, ham sandwich.
Just not the ribs.
Just their ribs are different. There's nothing wrong with Rendezvous ribs. They're just it's a different seasoning. They use the right, and it's kind of had some Greek influence to it. They're not super tender.
Yeah.
They
leave the membrane
They
on.
leave the membrane. It's scored, but it's still on there. Your rack's really, really small, even on a full order. They've been char grilled. They're not really smoked. But it's a different style. I've ate tons of Rendezvous ribs over the years. It's a fun place to go.
It is a fun place to
The
go.
atmosphere is some of the best atmosphere. You're right down in the heart of Memphis, right downtown, across from the Peabody little alley. Smells fantastic in there. The waiters have worked there, since most of them have worked there since they were old enough to work. So you meet some characters in there. The beer's always good and cold. Everybody, it's real tight quarters, so you're sitting on top of people, and it's usually a really fun atmosphere in there. That's why I like it. And I go there usually at least once a year and get some ribs, and I order the ribs just to, because it's kind of a nostalgia thing to me. Looking at the wall, seeing all the pictures of everybody famous who's been there. Is it the best rib in Memphis? Well, no, they know that, but it's how they do things, and it's how they've been doing them ever since Charlie Vargo's opened it up, So that's what I like about it.
Now they're in all the stadiums around here too. So if you
Yeah.
go to like
Oh,
a
really?
Redbirds game or a Memphis Grizzlies game or whatever, you can get Rendezvous nachos and Rendezvous sausage cheese plates.
Yep.
And in my opinion, that's the best.
Best things they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They do a sandwich too. It's pretty good. I want to say I don't know if
if
they
I've ever had their pulled
brisket
pork.
to their. I don't know. I probably wouldn't get brisket at Rendezvous. Here's the things you need to order. Go there. First, get you a pitcher of beer and sausage and cheese plate. Get 2 sausage and cheese plates.
And then you leave and you
And
go
then-
to barbecue shop.
If you have plenty of time, day before, take you a bunch of buddies, order the barbecue shrimp. You got to give them 24 hours notice. It's different, but it's pretty good.
Yep.
And then the ham and cheese sandwich is a great lunch. I mean, when I say a ham and cheese sandwich, this ain't just like a slice of ham and cheese on. It is a piled high. I mean,
I've never had that.
yeah, it's really good. It's really good. But I mean, that's Rendezvous.
I'm with you. Payne's though. Payne's has probably the best pulled pork
Yeah.
sandwich
Yep.
in Memphis.
I think they're cash only still.
Yeah.
So
Cozy
explain that.
Corners, worth it.
Cozy Corners worth
100%.
it. Yeah. Interstates, you're gonna get so much food when you order Interstate.
Interstate's really
You're not
good.
gonna get an Interstate sandwich and go get in your truck and eat it on the way somewhere.
Yeah.
They're gonna give you like a bib and a fork and a knife to eat the sandwich.
Yeah. And you
Is
got to
this-
get barbecue spaghetti.
Yeah, get the spaghettis when you go. Try them. Rendezvous don't have spaghetti, I don't think.
But I know the barbecue shop at Interstate do, and those
Yeah.
have probably the
I love
best.
I love the barbecue shop too.
Germantown probably has the best ribs. Germantown Commissary.
Yeah, their
they
ribs
probably
are
do have
fantastic.
some of the best ribs.
You should consider Corky's a chain because
Definitely.
Yeah. But I love their barbecue baked potatoes. Like,
Yeah.
that's what my favorite.
because I like Corky's ribs.
They do
Like,
have
you
good
get Corky's
ribs.
dry ribs. They've got some of the better dry ribs.
You just got to bring your own sauce because their sauce is horrible.
I'm not a fan of their sauce either. Here's something around that's good at Corky's. They're fried catfish.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Y'all ever had Tom's in Memphis?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Tom's is
Tom's
good.
good.
Tom's is, when I think of Tom's, I don't think of a barbecue joint. I think of a soul food joint.
Yeah.
Because you can go there, you can get
It's meat and 3.
chicken. Yeah, meat and 3. I mean, they have barbecue and they're known for it. I mean, it's okay. Like, they do rib tips, and it's like,
It kind of has a Greek flavor.
Middle Eastern
Yeah.
kind of, flavors on it. It's different.
Yeah.
bologna sandwich. They got a fine bologna sandwich. Their barbecue, pulled pork's good. You know, ribs are okay. They're not, you know.
Their chicken was really, really
Chicken,
good.
smoked chicken's good. Yeah.
I've heard the one in Memphis is great, but I've only ever. There used to be one in Horn Lake that was open. That's the only one I'd ever been to.
You know, I may have been to it once, but the original right there on Rains and Getwell's where I've always. I mean, I remember that since a kid. You know, it's been there.
Right.
And it was always just a lunch stop because it's like in an industrial part of town in Memphis, and they had a lot of people that got out for lunch break. They'd run to Tom's. I still don't know if they're open past 5 or 6 o'clock. I don't know because it's pretty much a lunch spot. They may be now. I don't know. It's been years since I've been there, but they've expanded over the years too. It was just a little brick building with the pit outside. Now it's, you know, there's places to sit down inside and stuff.
It's been a couple of years since we've gone
it's been
there.
a long time.
Yeah.
It's about time for another crawl.
Yeah.
Keep Tyler on the bus.
I'm driving myself.
Well, Malcolm, that's all I have for you today.
All right. Well, hey, this has been another great episode of How to Barbecue Right Podcast. Tyler, tell everybody where they can ask questions and find out about us, and if we have anything coming up, contest or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, we do have a contest.
Yeah, so I was going to say, we do have a quick little announcement. So we are going to be running a contest in the giveaway. If you're listening to this now, it's already live in the community. So it's spring cleaning time, so we're looking for people to clean up their grills and stuff. And we have a quick question for everybody that want you guys to answer. It'll be pinned at the very top of the Let's Get to Cooking community page on Facebook. Do you clean all your grills and your outdoor cooking area for spring, or do you just fire them up and get to cooking? And so,
What do you do, Mal?
I keep them clean.
He's got somebody.
Weekly.
He's got a guy.
He's got a guy.
Plot twist.
I have found this. Everybody should really do it. If y'all have friends or if you got kids, they're wanting to earn some extra gas money or something, pay them to keep your grilling area clean. It works great. It's amazing. You go out there and things are stocked and the grills are clean and things are wiped down and
Pellets are in the pellet hopper. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I don't know why it took me so long. And kids work pretty cheap.
So if you answer that question, we're going to pick 10 random commenters, and all the random commenters are going to win How to Barbecue Right our grill cleaner, our grill gloves, a gray How to Barbecue Right hat, a koozie, We Dig on Swine apron, which is one of my favorite aprons that we have, and then the barbecue rub and the barbecue sauce.
That's a pretty good little spring cleaning package.
Yeah.
Get grilling season started right.
The grill cleaner itself is worth that because I do use that all the time.
Yeah.
The grill cleaner works like a charm.
And
All natural.
All natural.
And that's going to go till Friday, April 28th at 11:59 Central.
Ooh, you got a while to get into that one.
Dang, that's a long one.
I've
We're
got some
already in
homework
April.
for you.
Say we're about 2 weeks. It's about
I've got some homework
2
for you,
weeks.
Shell.
Okay.
Find out when National Mayo Day is.
I'm pretty sure we've already had it.
Oh, have we?
I think so. I thought we talked about it.
Is there one?
We'll find it. Yeah.
That's homework.
I know May is National Barbecue Month.
It is coming up.
Yeah.
I like to call it Malcom and I.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in this week, and we'll be back next time to do it again. For all of us here at How to Barbecue Right, we gone.